Hey everyone, welcome back to TechBit Academy. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever wondered why some digital products just seem to, well, read your mind, while others literally leave you wanting to throw your phone across the room? Today, we are diving deep into the source material to deconstruct the invisible magic behind why the world's absolute best technology feels so completely effortless to use. Seriously, think about it for a second. Why do some websites feel like a total walk in the park? You jump on, you find exactly what you need, and you're done. But then on others, you're just kind of clicking randomly, getting totally lost, and frankly, getting incredibly frustrated. So what's the secret ingredient here? Well, the answer lies in something called human-computer interaction, or HCI. And this isn't just some tech buzzword. It's a massive, dedicated field of study and practice. It provides the core principles that dictate exactly how you and I interact with digital interfaces every single day. The ultimate goal of HCI? It's to ensure that every experience feels authentic, highly usable, and just completely natural. Okay, let's pull back the curtain on the 5 foundational pillars that create this illusion of magic: consistency, visibility, learnability, predictability, and feedback. Let's dive right into the first one. Principle number 1. Consistency in design. Here's the thing about human nature. Differences immediately grab our attention. So in digital design, unnecessary differences just cause unwanted distraction. Apple is an absolute master at avoiding this trap. If you look at the MacBook Pro interface here, components with similar behavior have a very similar appearance. They identify content, like headlines or buttons, by maintaining incredibly specific, consistent styles, fonts, and clean lines. Jump right over to the iPad Pro and boom, you'll notice the exact same design language. Apple applies these specific styles consistently across literally all their pages. When they need to introduce a new style, they don't just start from scratch. They build it based on styles that already exist. This perfectly leverages everything you've already learned from using their other products. And this brilliantly illustrates just how deep that consistency really goes. Check out the Apple Watch Series 2. Even on a completely different, much smaller device strapped to your wrist, the UI patterns remain identical. The content changes, sure, but the interaction and the core processes absolutely do not. By keeping interactions consistent, the whole experience becomes incredibly predictable and comforting. So what are the actual nuts and bolts of this consistency? It really boils down to a few core elements. You've got color and pattern, like relying on consistent blacks, grays, blues, and a ton of negative space. Then there's size, rotation, shape, and proportion. Behavior is huge too, meaning visual transitions act the exact same way every single time. And finally, voice, using the exact same labels and terms throughout the entire experience. All right, principle number 2, the visibility of cues. According to UX expert David Hogue, obvious prompts are what guide us through tasks. But there's a really delicate balance here, you know? Too many cues just become overwhelming visual noise. We also have to think about how people actually use these devices. We are super curious creatures, and let's be honest, we will aggressively tap on anything that even remotely looks clickable. Because touchscreens don't have a hover state like a mouse does, designers have to use commonly accepted standard UI components to show us the way. Take a look at this brilliant example from Adidas. They've built a custom site that lets you design your own sneakers. Notice how they use highly visible, super obvious visual cues to guide you step by step through the process. It doesn't leave you guessing for a second. It creates this perfectly structured path for you to follow to create your own masterpiece. So, to wrap up visibility, here are your golden rules. If something can be dragged, make sure you visually indicate it. Use a ghosting effect when an item is being moved. Clearly show where objects can and definitely cannot be dropped. And always use adaptive, responsive layouts so the interface flows naturally, whether you're sitting at a desktop monitor or tapping away on your phone. Moving right along to principle number 3, measuring true learnability. Listen, even the absolute easiest, most intuitive interfaces require a tiny bit of learning. Plus, we constantly bring our expectations from other websites and even real-world objects into every new app we open. So how do we actually measure if someone is successfully learning an interface? Well, expert Joe Natoli breaks it down into 4 key metrics. Effectiveness, meaning do they actually learn the functions? Efficiency, how long does it take them? Satisfaction, was the effort actually worth the perceived value? And errors, how many mistakes do they make and how fast do they recover? But there's a massive psychological hurdle here. We literally have to get it to learn it.
If an interface makes absolutely no sense, a user is never going to learn it. This is especially true with touchscreens. Think about swiping for a second. It leaves absolutely no physical trace. That invisibility practically invites accidental interactions, which is exactly why we always need visual evidence of our actions.
Okay, principle number 4, the power of predictability.
Why are we so obsessed with things being predictable? Well, it's because human beings are psychologically hardwired to crave a sense of control over our environment. As Joe Natoli perfectly states, a sense of control is a hardwired cognitive requirement in the brain, speeds task completion, and makes people feel good. So, predictability isn't just some nice-to-have design feature. It is literally mandatory for keeping people fully engaged and moving forward.
For a stellar example of predictability in action, check out the website for 21 West End, which is a residential development over in New York City. As they highlight their building's amenities, they give you this incredibly clear, high-level view of the site's entire structure. It gives potential renters immediate context. They know exactly where they are, what they are looking at, and precisely how to navigate to the very next piece of information.
So, to make your interface predictable, make sure you follow these best practices. First, show users what can be done while the interface is still loading. Provide a high-level map for context. Always remember that users are extremely click-happy. If they don't know what to do, they're just going to start tapping on everything. So use explicit labels and icons to tell them exactly what to do, what's going to happen next, where they'll go, and exactly how the screen is going to respond.
And finally, principle number 5, providing good feedback. Think of feedback as a constant conversation between you and the interface. Every single action you take should produce an immediate, noticeable reaction. According to David Hogue, good feedback has to answer 4 absolutely critical questions at any given moment. Where am I? What's happening right now? What is going to happen next? And what just happened? If your interface can answer those questions, your users will never, ever feel lost.
Now, what's really fascinating about this slide is how interactive feedback plays out in real time. This My Dream City quiz instantly reconfigures 756 individual data points the exact second you make a choice. It lets people know their input has been seen immediately. And if you don't like the results, no problem. It instantly offers you another option. It's totally seamless.
But hey, what happens when things inevitably go wrong? Because mistakes are really just incorrect choices, they shouldn't always result in massive crashing errors. Obviously, error prevention is the dream goal, but when errors do happen, you need rock-solid feedback. Just follow these 4 rules for error messages. 1. Clearly describe what happened. 2. Explain exactly why it happened. 3. Suggest a way to fix it. And 4, and this is easily the most important one, never ever blame the user.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today, unpacking the invisible architecture behind digital design. From keeping things highly consistent to providing flawless feedback, these rules genuinely shape our modern digital lives. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you open up your favorite app and find yourself swiping through it completely effortlessly, take a pause. Which of these 5 hidden principles is secretly guiding your hand?